The United States of America. History's strongest nation. Empire? By far America's greatest strength is its stupidly great geography. Why worry about your enemies when you're half a world away from them? Protected by two oceans on both sides and two weaker neighbors, this gives America an amazing buffer that other nations simply don't have. But the true power comes from within the land. With hundreds of millions of hectares of arable land, that's about 1.5 million square kilometers. To put that into perspective, that's larger than Mongolia. The land used for growing corn is larger than Malaysia, soybean farms larger than Finland, and wheat prairies the size of Nepal. It's no wonder that food is so cheap in the States. But this is America we're talking about. What's actually considered food? Most of these crops don't end up in the vegetable aisles on Walmart, but in ultra-processed foods, such as fast food chains. McDonald's, the world's most recognizable food brand. You'll find the golden arches in just about any corner of the globe. And yet, the Americans have the worst of it. And this isn't only limited to Big Macs. Stereotypically, the US makes about 117% of its caloric needs. This means a 17% surplus. This shows in its obesity rates, however. But this isn't because Americans hate broccoli. Just look at the medium income map, and now look at the obesity rate. Wealthier states have less obesity. But why are the whole foods that much more expensive? It all comes down to profits. Whole foods like fruits and vegetables are labor intensive, have a short shelf life, and not subsidized by the government. But what about corn, you may be asking? Corn isn't grown to be food. It's grown to be industrial input like high fructose corn syrup, starch, and animal feed. Soy gets turned into vegetable oil and McNuggets. Wheat gets turned into soy sauce. I'm not kidding, it's legally half soggy bread. Rice gets turned into milk and cotton gets turned into margarine. That's why soda, fast food, and just about anything that can kill a Victorian child costs less than a pound of broccoli. 'Cause tomatoes may get bruised, beaten, or taste weird depending on your climate, but dino nuggies? They stay the same whether you're in Alaska or Alabama. Okay, no one has ever complained about too much food, but what about minerals? Just about every mineral you'd find is inside America's borders, except the ones that are really important, like uranium. But we already have Canada, so they're basically America's resource tiles. Even if the US has to import anything, how? If you look at the busiest ports in the world, the Chinese and the Dutch lead the list. But if you want to find an American port, you'll have to go down to rank 16. Huh? While other countries need to build their ports, America was born with them. Along America's coastlines, you'll find natural harbors left, right, and center. All this meanwhile imports make up 14% of America's economy. Other nations such as Germany and India have 33 and 23% respectively. Still less than half of America's imports put together. With all these advantages, the US military could pull out of all its 4,790 military bases worldwide and would never be invaded. That's because you'd have to face 350 to 500 million guns. What? Where did all those guns come from? That's because America has an enormous firearms industry. Just like everything in the US, gun ownership isn't equal either. Just about 3% of all Americans hold about half of the nation's stockpile. 8 million people in the possession of 110 million firearms. If that math doesn't check out to you, that's 30 times more than the military stockpile. More weapons than the continents of Europe, Africa, and South America, and Americans outgun all of them combined. That small fraction of America owns about a quarter of civilian firearms worldwide. So despite being 5% of the global population, America owns about 46% of the guns in the world. With a population like this, you're lucky if your army even comes back alive. But it's rarely that America is the one that gets attacked, with politics divided between two parties going absolutely.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
Oh, it seems like I'm getting a call from the Big Don himself.
Hey, Kimathi, you better not talk any smack about me, or else I'm gonna put so many strikes you've never seen before.
You know what? Let's continue this video later.